Well, welcome to Hamilton County TV. I'm Perry Williams, and I'm here today with the head football coach of the Noblesville Millers that actually has a little smile on his face because he won game one of the semi-round of football this past weekend in the sectionals against Zionsville 35-10. So congratulations, Coach.
Thank you, Perry.
Game two is going on, and we hadn't been to Game 2 in 10 years here at Noblesville.
Right. The one thing I'm really proud of is we brought the kids in Saturday morning, to watch the film and review a few things, and they're 100% dialed in. The celebration was over as soon as the game was over, and I think they know that that we're officially playing for a trophy, and we get to play our rival down the street, so they're all dialed in for Westfield right now.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point there. And the one thing when you get in sectional time or tournament time, you just got to play it one game at a time.
Survive in advance.
And the next one up is Westfield Shamrocks. Coach, talk a little bit about some of the things you felt like you did really good in the game. I don't want to talk about it a long time, but talk about some of the adjustments you had to make playing Zionsville compared to what you were, 6 weeks ago?
They're a very evenly matched team with us. It's just funny how this series has went this year. They blew us out, and then we blow them out. If we played a third time, the game would probably go into triple overtime. You know what I mean? It's two evenly matched teams, but we for the third week in a row, we received the opening kick and had a huge drive for a touchdown, and just doesn't matter what level it is. If you can take the opening kick and go 80 yards, it just makes everything so much easier. And so a great drive to start the game, featuring all three running backs. Everybody touched the ball. Everybody got some carries, and we're able to get wide on Zionsville a little bit more than we did in the first time. So Gage Goalie had a nice 15-yard touchdown run on a bounce play. The second drive of the game, or Zionsville, we had them on about a 3rd and 7 at midfield, and we make a tremendous play on 3rd and 7. I think it was Trey Speak that swatted down an out route, and so they punt to us, and we were able to break off a big run. Sharpe, what we didn't do, I think the first time we played them, maybe Sharpe had 5 or 6 carries total. We were just down the whole game and throwing the ball. But when you give that little guy a lot of touches, it's just like watching a great baseball. It's like watching Aaron Judge. If you give him 10 fastballs, he's going to knock 2 of them out of the park, right? And it's the same with Sharpe. If you just let him touch the ball behind the big O line, 2 out of 10 times he's going to sneak out the other end, right? And now we'll swing and miss a few times. We had quite a few gains of 0 and gains of 1 against Zionsville. They did a good job for the most part, but we were able to hit home runs. And Gabe Bellin had 1, Gage Goalie had 1, and Sharpe had 2. Landon had the huge pass play as well. So it was a big play game, and everything went our way. I mean, everything went our way. When it was 14-0, Eugene Hilton makes a tremendous play on a screen pass and goes about 40 yards for a touchdown. Gets called back for a block in the back. It's just like, whew, and the block in the back was unnecessary. So it was just, we got lucky on that one, and they bring it back. They end up not scoring. Chris Degney makes an awesome play on 4th down right by the goal line to swat that down, and we get the ball and up 14-0 and convert a huge 4th down. And then when it was 14-0, that was Landon's drive. It was Landon, I think, had he had a keep left, a keep right, a keep left for about 5-6 yards. He ran a little midline concept that we've put in for him. We haven't ran this year. Had that for about 5 or 6 yards, and then he had a huge, the 4th and 5. He had a keep for about 10 yards. But the biggest play of the game was the only pass we threw. That was 3rd and 7. We're prepared to we're going to throw it deep, but knowing that we're going to have to punt to them and keep them in the game. But I give Landon a ton of credit. He came back to his 3rd read on that. He was looking AB to goalie, and Sharpe was like the last read, and he was calm, cool, collected, and just throws it right on the money to Sharpe, who makes a great catch and got some nice moves after the play too. So getting up 21-0, you can only imagine the emotion on our sideline. And I think like the defense played so well. They were getting a spark from from everything, and I just saw something in their eyes, like Gavin Kinian and Austin Hastings and Jacob Ambler and Zach Lee, all these guys up front fighting and scratching to with their offensive line. It was just like there was a spark in the air. And when it was 21-0, Trey Speak, our captain, Agent Zero, is his wears number 0. He makes a tremendous play. That thing is basically on the ground, and he picks it off right off the turf. Just an incredible catch by him. And he's our emotional leader, Trey is. And so when he's jacked up and excited, it makes everybody else feel the same. And then Schaff was able to pop one, I think, 2 plays later to kind of put the game out of reach. And we got off to a good start in the second half too. Forced a punt right away. And we were able to get some younger kids in once the game was out of reach. So that's just a nice little side effect of getting a big victory. Is you get to have the kids that work so hard on the scout team for us, prepping us all week, haven't missed a weight session or a practice. They get to go in and make some big plays. Brody Gump rips off a big run. Cameron Mullen, who's a great scout team player, he gets a big interception. So just so much fun to see those guys and to see our seniors, our starters, just sitting there cheering them on. I saw Nate Ham and Aiden Brewer had headsets on. They're like, "Can we call a play? Can we call a play?" So just a lot of fun. But the good thing about winning in a kind of a blowout fashion is you're over it pretty quick. We could get over it and focus on Westfield. If we would have beat Zionsville in triple overtime, we're probably still like on cloud 9. But like it's good to get that blowout in the tournament. And like I said on Saturday morning, they were ready to go. But everybody stepped up, and it's nice to play at home. But now we're gonna have to play on the road, and they'll have, I'm assuming, a bigger crowd than we will, and it's going to be.
And that's a tough place to play.
It's a tough place to play.
They bring a big crowd.
They don't lose in that field.
Their student body is second to none, really, over there. They can bring it. So.
You're correct. Yeah. But we know that, and
yeah.
we know what to prepare for, and we know it's going to be the most hostile environment that we could possibly go into.
And the one thing I noticed, and you said it was a complete team effort, and we talked about it a lot on the air up there. Is the one thing about it is, we were doing such a good job in the secondary.
Yeah.
But our front four was putting a lot of pressure on a very good quarterback.
They have improved. I want to highlight Grayson Owens too. Grayson's a junior, and you talk about a kid that's gone from week 1 to week 10. Probably the most consistent improvement week to week to week to week to week. We can't take him off the field now. He's so valuable to us, and he was just barely rotating in weeks 1 and 2 and 3, and now he's just worked his way to the top of that rotation on D-line.
And those are good things that you always love to see, and as a coach, because pretty much at the beginning of the year, those kids that are great players are always great players normally.
Yeah.
Okay, and so they're going to do good, and you're very disappointed if they don't. But that kid's a special kid that has worked his tail off all year long and never gave up. And those are the fun guys.
Mac Linus and Jordan Sharpe, they have great games too. Mac, we lost to an injury for a little while late in the season. We got him back. He's fully healthy. He had a huge impact. Jordan Sharpe's been beat up all year, but he's healthy now and playing his butt off too. So just a complete team effort, as you said.
The one thing about it, the good thing is we only gave up 10 points, and that's the least amount that we've given up point-wise all season long, I believe.
Yeah.
So the momentum is rolling, but we still got to play a football game against a very good Westfield team.
I think it was about midnight. I couldn't sleep after the game, and I started watching the Westfield Carmel game, and that brought me back down to reality. Like I haven't seen the Shamrocks on tape since we played them, I think.
Yeah.
And they looked amazing. So they have improved.
That was the fourth game of the season, so.
Yeah, no, they have improved tremendously from week 4 to week 10, and that's what great programs do. So we have to be able to match their improvement, because we were pretty equally matched week 4, but we'll see who has improved more, and get a Big Ten player like Dylan Thieneman back. He didn't play against us the first time. You throw him in the mix, he's playing offense and defense, and so that's again, we got to match that.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, it's kind of interesting is going in this game, there's 2 good running backs in Schaffner the Garnett kid is only a sophomore, but boy, he's really come on and had some big games this year.
Huge game against Carmel. He comes out the other end. He's a lot like Sharpe. Just there's a blob of bodies, and then there he goes. Sneaking out the other end.
And then Landon's improved so much at quarterback since week 4, and of course they got Ballard, and Ballard's a very good quarterback, and he runs the ball well and throws pretty well.
He does. Ballard has a knack. He just has a knack on those read options. When he keeps the ball, he's just you can just tell how cerebral, how smart he is. He just knows what cut to make, when to turn on the jets, when to run somebody over, when to get down, when to get out of bounds. He's not gonna lose the game for him. He is very talented, and he's perfect for their system with their RPOs and the read options. You can just tell they truly trust him 100% to run the show.
Coach, looks like it's going to be pretty nice weather, so hopefully
I know. Do a rain dance for me, Perry. We want some nasty weather.
But I think it's going to be a great football game, and it's always great. The Hoosier Crossroad Conference has 6 of their 8 teams still playing.
Yeah,
okay?
That was pretty cool to see. Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, we're matching up here, so they'll only be coming out with 3.
Right, but man, it was just cool to see everybody win, or a lot of teams win. It's cool to see Franklin Central have Center Grove on the ropes.
Yeah.
Everybody in our locker room knows that Franklin Central's defense is amazing. They made us look pretty silly, and they made a lot of teams in our schedule look silly. And good to see Avon get a win. Brownsburg, Fishers, and HSE took care of the Fort Wayne schools, and of course Westfield had the biggest win of all of us. Beating the Greyhounds. So the conferences. You always say it's a great conference, but I think now the rest of the state knows that it's the absolute. As elite of a conference in high school football as you can get. So I was happy for all those coaches. We're all good friends off the field. We'll actually meet up tomorrow night to kind of just have a conference meeting. So it'd be good to see everybody again tomorrow.
Coach, one of the I always feel like it's an advantage, yet it's a disadvantage. Is we're so close here in our conference, and when it comes tournament time, we don't go out of our conference much.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, very unusual for with the change this year that Southeastern Fishers have to play Fort Wayne schools. So
there's whispers that maybe someday they might seed 6A or seed the sectional seed, and maybe we'll be heading up to the region or Fort Wayne or down to the Louisville area. You never know, South Side. So we'll see. But as of right now, it's tough. We're going to play everybody twice. This is amazing. This will be the 6th time in 3 seasons that we'll play Shamrocks. So,
So the point I was trying to make is the one thing with you knowing each other so well and playing each other, and also all your kids knowing their players also. It sometimes is a real challenge for a coach to be able to do the scheming and making sure that you're ready. That normally if you went up and played somebody up in Northern or Southern, either one, they wouldn't know much about you.
I'm sure both teams will have a couple of wrinkles on O and D and maybe special teams that we haven't seen on film, knowing each other so well. But the game's going to be won and lost with our base O, our base D, their base O, their base D, right? There might be a gadget or two here and there, but for the most part, who can execute what they do the best in the most intense, environment, and that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. Kids have worked really, really hard. Everybody's, done a million reps of what they need to do to get good at things, and we get to play in this enormous stage and see what happens.
Yeah, and as you said, all season long, 1 through now 10 games, if we stay in front of that chain, get those 3 or 4 yards every play, we're going to be okay.
Yeah, it's up to them to get us into 2nd and 8s and 3rd and 6s, and it's up to us to get into 2nd and 6s and 3rd and 2s. It's that simple. And same thing when they're on O. We want to get them into some 3rd and uncomfortables and see if they can execute. Their 3rd and longs. That's where the game's going to be won and lost.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot, Coach. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule because I know you've got a lot of things to do, and this game plan's not complete yet. You're always writing something down on a board in a corner or something like that when you come in the office, working on what can you do, or what new wrinkle can you put in this football game to make a difference. So we appreciate it. Best of luck.
Thanks, Perry. Go Millers.